Hi friends, this is Mainak Misra. Welcome back to my channel, and I hope that during this corona lockdown time you are doing great. Today I will be discussing uh, about the nominee, the great nominee for 92nd Academy Awards in the International Feature Film category, and Cannes Film Festival in Competition nominee for 2019, Pain and Glory. So this film is directed by a person who doesn't need any introduction, Mr. Pedro Almodóvar, one of the most important film directors of the world and probably the greatest Spanish film director. So this film is very personal film. This is an autobiography based on the life of the director himself, wherein Antonio Banderas, he is playing the alter ego of Mr. Almodóvar. And as I mentioned you that this is a deeply personal film. Okay, so in this film, the film will take the audience to Salvador, the role that Antonio Banderas is playing, Salvador, which is the alter ego of Mr. Almodóvar, to his childhood days, to his home where he used to stay, where he settled down with his mother and father, and then his first realization of homosexuality, his days in Madrid, his first young love, separation, and dreams, memories, nostalgia. So this is such a topic, if you see the film, that everything will enclose you in an artistic world. And I think this year in 2019, this is a gem. So you should not miss this, and I hope you are not going to miss. Okay, I will explain you a little. I will take you a walk through the film. So Salvador, who is the alter ego of Mr. Almodóvar. Okay, he is right now in his declining state. He is very fragile. He has all kinds of physical problem and also mental problem. He has a back problem. He has migraine problem. He is not able to sleep. He has insomnia. He has anxiety, and he has creative block. I think you have already seen Federico Fellini's great film 8½. So in that film also there is a director's block mentioned. That is the theme of that film. And this film, when great artists work, so they may work on a particular topic, but those are very distinct, because those are on the lives of their own, So they are very distinct. They are very separated from each other. So Salvador is in his declining state, and he is a famous film director, though he has a creative block and he hasn't directed a film in quite a few years, and he has all kinds of mental problems apart from the physical problems that I told you. So the film starts with Salvador is in a swimming pool, and then when he meets Zulema, and there is a talk that in a local cinematheque in Madrid, they have restored the negative of one of his films, that is Sabor, which he directed in 1980s, about 32 years back. So the cinematheque wants Salvador personally to present that film to the audience, and then Salvador thinks about it, and he thinks, why don't I invite the main actor? So main actor is Alberto Crespo, with whom Salvador hasn't talked for more than 30 years. So while they were shooting the film, they had a fallout, because Salvador wanted the actor's role to be played in a different way, but Alberto had this heroin problem. He used to take heroin. So there was a very strong influence of heroin in the film, which Salvador didn't want. So that way they had a certain problem, and they did fall out at that time. But this time Salvador pays a visit to Alberto's home, and then they agree that they'll present the film to the audience. Okay, and before that, this is the one track wherein Salvador's present life is shown. And on a parallel track, the film takes the audiences to Salvador's early the childhood days. Such a beautiful and beautiful picturizations, very vibrant cinematography by Jose Luis Alcaine. He is about 79 years old, but just look at the cinematography, brilliant use of color, very vibrant images. And then I will explain a little bit about the childhood of Salvador. Okay, so Salvador's mother had a little bit problem with his grandmother. Okay, so they settled down in a cave-like whitewashed house in Paterna region, Paterna village in Valencia region. So she comes from a city life. So his father, who is in army, he says, "Will you be able to adjust?" And his mother is played by Penelope Cruz. And just see Penelope Cruz, you will not be able to identify that Penelope Cruz is this is the Penelope Cruz who you see on magazines and newspapers. Very beautiful, very efficient acting. And then the first time, and they had one laborer. His name is Eduardo, and Salvador teaches Eduardo how to read and write because he is illiterate. And the first time Salvador realizes his homosexuality. Fantastic, you just have to see the every frame. I will say this film is one of the most important films of 2019, and you are not going to miss it. How an artist like Almodóvar, who doesn't need an introduction, who is in film area, film fraternity for many years, and the way he takes a tour of his own life through Salvador is amazing. And then in the present day, then his actor Alberto Crespo, he requests Salvador one of his story which Salvador has written about his own life. The story's name is The Addiction. He wants to play it on stage. So initially Salvador is a little bit hesitant. He doesn't want, but later on he agrees to hand over it to Alberto to stage it. And then when Alberto is staging it, in the audience Federico is present. So Federico is Salvador's first adult love and probably the last one, and they broke up in 1982 Madrid. But Federico is not currently residing in Madrid. He stays in Buenos Aires in Argentina, but he has come to Madrid for a few works. Okay, and then immediately Federico realizes and recognizes that this is his and Salvador's story, and he goes to backstage. He takes the contact number of Salvador from Alberto. He contacts him, and then the next day they meet, they party together, and they reminisce their old time. What I say, it is like Almodóvar's film. Like his entire life is such a big influence, and only a great artist like Federico Fellini, only a great artist can make this kind of film. And then there is, I will explain you a little bit about other scenes also. So then there is a scene where about 5 years back, when Salvador's mother is in last condition. So Salvador pays a visit to his mother in the hospital, and then his mother says that you haven't become a good son, because when his father passed away, that time his mother wanted to stay with him in Madrid. But Salvador said that, Madrid is very, it's a city, you have stayed in a village, so will you be able to adjust? So he didn't want that. Okay, so but his mother had a last wish, that she wanted to die, to pass her final moments in that village where they settled down in the cave-like house, whitewashed house. Eduardo worked and gave the whitewashing finishing on the walls. There are tiles, so she wanted to die and to pass her final moments there. And then Salvador said that these wish I am going to fulfill, but as God decides, nobody can beat the Almighty. So next day his mother passed away. So Salvador has great regret, and he hasn't overcome this grief yet. He is still grief stricken. He remembers his mother, and he is not able to make a peace with his past life. Every now and then, very frequently, his visions, whenever he is taking a drug, heroin, he is currently heroin addicted. So whenever he is taking a drug or he is thinking something in his pensive mood, his vision, his memories go towards his past life, his childhood. He remembers everything. There's a river scene wherein all the village people, they wash and they do laundry work, and they spread the bed sheets on the plants, and then they sing. You will, if you have been raised or you were born in villages, you will connect to this scene. Very, very nice scene. And as I told you, from the starting onwards, you have to see the vibrant color. Everywhere there is a vibrant color. Even when the title is rolling, that time also you will see a white box with some colorful graphics. There are colorful graphics where Salvador's problem is getting treated by a doctor. So it is very, very nice. And then ultimately Salvador has a growth on his throat, and it has to be operated. Okay, so the doctor says that do not take heroin anymore, and Salvador promises that he will not take heroin now onwards. And then at the in the last scene where he is about to be operated, that time the film takes the audiences back again to his childhood, wherein Salvador and his mother has just arrived at the station, and they're waiting to be settled down in the village. And at that time camera little bit tracks backward, and you can see that the cameraman, the sound person, that a film is getting shot. So it means that Salvador ultimately has overcome all his problems, and he is right now in a condition to shoot, to make a film again. Okay. So this is the story, and this is one multiple internationally acclaimed, right? It was nominated for Best International Feature Film at 92nd Academy Awards. Antonio Banderas was nominated for Best Actor at 92nd Academy Awards. It was nominated for four categories in 2019 Cannes Film Festival. Best soundtrack for Alberto Iglesias, fantastic soundtrack. When there is a scene taking place in childhood, he has a different music. When he has mental problem or physical problem, he is meeting Alberto, there is a very different tune. Very dynamic music, a very vibrant cinematography, and Almodóvar's direction, it doesn't need any mention. Every frame, every shot, every scene, every take, you will understand that. I think you are not going to miss it. Hope you are very fine, and you are going to see, and hopefully you have already seen Pain and Glory. Until I make the next video, I will take your leave. So please subscribe to my channel and encourage me to make videos on famous films, important films, famous filmmakers. Okay, and I hope that you love this video. Thank you so much, and bye.